So when you say you went through it, for people who don't know, what is it for you? What was it for you? For all the listeners or whatever.
It could be a bunch of different things, but the most important was obviously, I had to do chemotherapy for 7 months between the months of October to April, I want to say, yeah. And so I did about like 2 or 3 different surgeries, 2 different biopsies.
Wow.
After I finished my regular scheduled chemotherapy, I got really sick, so I had to go back to the hospital for a month, not a month, I'm in a week, and I had a tube in my neck, and so that pushed everything back a month. And so it was a hard time for the first month, maybe month and a half, just because your body's getting used to, all the chemotherapy. And so I didn't have the energy to really sleep, eat, just your basic everyday things. Sleeping I'm sleeping for like 16 hours at sometimes. Sometimes I'll sleep for 3. Like it was bad. And on top of that, just juggling schoolwork,
You still does school?
Oh no, 100%. My mama don't play. My mama
Oh
don't play.
my goodness. So you're telling me
My mama
you
do
were
not
doing
play.
chemo
Yes.
and school.
And practice. Yes. 100%. I don't know how I did it.
What?
I don't know how I did it.
That's crazy.
I try to tell people I don't know how I did it, but like I had my mom out there with me the whole time. She was taking care of me. Shout out to my mom. She's the best mom in the world. I love you.
Shout out to moms.
And I'm telling you, I was still she was like, I know you don't feel good. I just want you to just be there, because it at least shows your professors that you're still willing to make the effort to be there. And in the long run, that's gonna help you. And then it did, because come down when I need a little extra, extensions on a couple things. They gave it to me. So
I'd hope so. I'd really hope so.
So yeah, just having her around, she don't play. She's all about that. Me getting my degree, me going to school. She's always been like that. And then obviously having my dad there, he's a rock to all of us. So we all leaned on him. He made sure that we was all good. He kept me in good spirits for basketball, and just becoming a man in general, and just understanding that life's gonna, hit you with certain things. But, as long as you're prepared for it and you're not afraid to attack it head on, then you'll be fine.
Welcome back to The Player's Perspective, a podcast hosted by Miller Cobb and powered by Hoosiers Connect. As the official NIL collective of IU Athletics, Hoosiers Connect provides exclusive access to IU student athletes, offering fans an inside look at their lives both in and out of competition. Tune in weekly to hear stories and perspectives from the incredible athletes that make Hoosier Nation proud.
He seems so excited to be here.
You can hear in the podcast, in the episode, how excited he is to be here, but not only just to be here in Indiana, but to be alive. And
be alive and thrive.
Yeah, and that was the coolest part about the episode, and you could tell how much his family has impacted his life in such a positive way, and it inspired me hearing his mom continue to hold the standards high, and his dad be just a backbone for him in terms of basketball and life in general. And so obviously you could tell he's a special guy.
It's his relationship with his parents, and just how awesome that seems, has transferred into his mentality with his teammates and stuff like that. I mean, he talked about how he wants to be a leader and wants to make the game for everyone around him easier. And that's his main goal when he's on the court.
Well, as a point guard, you could understand how you're the orchestrator of the team, and with that in mind, he understands how important it is that everybody else has to feel good about themselves in the game. And so he doesn't care, and he was talking about how he just doesn't care about his own ego or anything like that. It's more about, how can I make these guys better around me? And that's all you want from a point guard, because if you have that, that's all that matters. Everything will stem beautifully from that.
And then on top of that, he's just a good vibes guy, which is
Great
even
vibes.
better, right?
Great vibes. Very, very good vibes. We actually had a...
he's so fun to talk to.
Yeah.
Just because he wants to talk about everything, and just he just keeps running his mouth about everything, which is so fun.
Yeah, it was fun because I could talk too, but it was more. This episode was more about just him going and doing his thing and sharing his story.
And you definitely took away some stuff from that conversation.
Yeah. Oh,
It seemed like you just wanted to like pick his brain.
Oh, I forgot we were on a podcast, and I just started asking questions that I wanted to know personally as an individual who just wants to improve, myself. And I think I did. So I think everybody who listens to it will do as well. It's Myles Rice. Let's go, man.
How we doing?
Good, bro. Good. Glad you're here, man. I'm appreciative of the time because I know you're doing a lot throughout the day, and I'm excited to get down and talk. It's gonna be a good chat.
Nah, it is. I'm happy to be able to do this, though.
It's gonna be a good chat. I'll move that. But for people who don't know, everybody has a story. Your story is special. Everybody's story is special, but yours is really powerful. And I was once asked this question by somebody who was, I don't know, interviewing me or something. And they said, how did you get in this chair? Like, what led you to be here? And so I guess my question to you is like, how did Myles Rice get here?
At Indiana?
No, just here at this point in his life.
Well, through my first, I just gotta give all glory to God because, he puts me in the situations to where, I may not think they benefit me at the moment of time, but in the grand scheme of things, like you say, you don't look at 10 days or 10 weeks, you look at the past 10 years. And, to see where I'm at from even the start of high school to where I am now, not just athletically, but like spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, like just being, very in tune with my family and just trying to appreciate the little things in life. But like I said, God most importantly, my family, my mom and dad, they sacrificed everything from AAU tournaments to coming to my academic award ceremonies at school to, helping out around the school with PTO and everything. So just seeing them always in my life, like nonstop, really, just kind of gave me that extra boost. If they're gonna do that for me, then in the long run, I want to be able to, return that favor one day. And that ultimately led me to where I'm at now in this present day to be able to, make money for the way that I play and go to school and be able to provide for them now. So that's kind of the most two important factors I would say.
What's that mean to be able to now help provide for them and bless them because they've been such blessings to you?
It means everything, honestly, just because, my mom and dad, like, I'm not going to sit here and just say, like, oh, that we come from nothing. But, I mean, we're not, like, we're middle class, like my mom and dad, they work hard. And, me and my brother, we'd be at the house, watching each other while, they would go to work. But, just seeing the sacrifices they made, day in and day out to, work a 9 to 5 and then, take their child to all the way across town for AAU practices or, just different things that they might not have had the energy to do, but they still did it anyway because, we are, their children and they got to make sacrifices. So to be able to return, the favor, for all the sacrifices that they did, it just honestly just means the world.
Yeah, it's like an endless like motivation because you have them all the time to be like, I want to continue to do this, not just because I have goals and stuff and I'm talented, but like you want to do things because, it makes them proud. At least for me, it's like you want to make them proud and you want to continue to push forward for them and not because, it's not just about you.
Exactly.
It's not just about, the stuff that it looks like on the outside. So like in terms of basketball, what's been your basketball journey?
The basketball journey's been kind of crazy, honestly. If we want to start from high school, I didn't play varsity till my sophomore year. So I only played 3 years of varsity basketball. And then my senior year, I transferred to a school on the south side of the city. I played alongside Jabari Smith Jr., who plays for the Houston Rockets now. Washington State was my only Power 5 school coming out of high school because, I got recruited during COVID. And so, like, at that time, it wasn't just, like, I mean, Georgia was still, like, open and pretty much, but, you have coaches from, like, Cali or, like, from the West Coast. to where other states they have like that the lockdown thing going on. They couldn't come travel, so they had to like watch everything like off Zoom or just watch film.
It's not the same.
It's not because sometimes you just gotta see it. Like me and my dad have this thing called the eye test. Like you could watch somebody 9 times on TV, but unless you go see them in person and they pass the eye test. And for those who don't understand what the eye test is, it's basically if I go watch a kid play one time in person and he passes the eye test with me and like he does the little things and not everything's just so much so glitz and glimmer like how they show on TV or like in the highlight reels. So are you helping your teammate up? Or are you having good body language? Are you responsive to the coach when he's trying to teach you something? Those are the things that we would call the eye test, and you can't really pick that up all the time on TV or film. And I think those are some of the great qualities like that I have, and I presented back then as well, to put myself ahead of others. Mm-hmm. And because I wasn't the most athletic, I didn't have the prettiest jumper. I probably would have been one of the fastest at the time. I don't know, but
No, you got the speed.
like I said, I wasn't like just exciting, like, athletically, like to where everybody be like, oh, whoa, we gotta go. But from a cerebral standpoint and like the little things, the intangible things, is the things that I really hang my hat on. So I really feel like that's what Washington State was able to see, and from the people that were in my corner to tell them that. And I did 3 years out there. Freshman year, I had the red shirt. We had a lot of older guys. Just had to wait my time. Learned a lot that year though, like just how to approach the game in a very, respectable manner.
Yeah.
And just attack it every day. And then that led me into last year where, we'll dive in more into it, where, I got diagnosed with cancer and everything and had to sit out. And then the most recent year, just had a good breakout year this past year, and it led me to here at Indiana.
Man, you bounced around a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, there's a lot of things you said that we'll hit on, but like, I want to go back to the eye test. When you got here, okay, you don't need to name any names and stuff, but obviously when you come to a new team, you're looking at everybody, giving them the eye test. Your teammates, coaches too. What, like you said, what stuff specifically are you looking for when you're coming into the new team and making the transition from one school across the country to another one?
Yeah, first thing I see is just who's being a great teammate, most importantly. Because it's like that's like the strong foundation for everything. Because no matter if you're having a good day or bad day, if at the end of the day you can still be a great teammate and encourage somebody, then that's enough to hang your hat on. And then after that will probably be, just picking up on different tendencies. Because, everybody doesn't do the same job.
Yeah.
So, like,
yes.
We have our dominant bigs, then we have our shooters, we have our dynamic scorers, we have our floor generals. So just being able to, like, see people in their element and kind of, adjust to their strengths is the most important thing that I try to do, because I'm never the type of guy to be like, oh, you guys have to fit around me. I mean, everybody has to gel with one another, of course. Yeah. But I'll more so if you like bring the ball up on the right side and like going right, I'll play the left side the entire time. If that's gonna make the game easier for you.
Yeah.
And so just
it's a good point guard.
Just to be able to I feel like the first 4 weeks we were out here over our 8-week summer workout was like the real filling out process to kind of understand what everybody's tendencies and where they like the ball and how they like to approach the game, practice from day to day. And then when we came back the second week, it was like, okay, now I could step more into that leadership role and be a voice, because I've only played 1 year, but this is my 4th year in college overall. So I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot. And last year I had to do a lot with Washington State. So I feel like everything's just coming together at the perfect time for me to be able to step into the shoes of being a good leader. And I said those are a couple of things that just passed the eye test.
Yeah. So they had some guys that passed the eye test?
No, yeah, for the most part, we got to see how, preseason goes when we come back, when school starts. But I know my dad, he came up here a couple times, and he'd be watching the film too, so he'll let me know. And most important thing, when I try to judge somebody by the eye test, I try to make sure I'm doing everything too, because I want to pass the eye test as well.
Well, that's the thing, man, is you can't I always say you can't hold someone else to a standard you don't live up to yourself. And that's the biggest thing, because you can't call somebody out and when you're not doing that thing as well.
Exactly.
It's hypocritical, and you look you look silly.
Like, you can't tell somebody to sprint hard to the corner, and you're not even making it past half court.
Exactly.
So it goes hand in hand. So as much as I want, to see people pass the eye test, I always push myself and make up scenarios in my head so that way I can pass the eye test as well.
Mm-hmm. Did I pass the eye test, bro, when we played pickup?
No, 100%. Like, your communication, your ability to shoot the rock was insane. And I love how you, like, after, if it was like a break or a pause in the game, like, you were always talking to somebody on the team to make sure they understood, like, certain actions or what's going on or how it would be at the next level. I really, like, take heart to that because I'm really a cerebral player, and I like to overanalyze and, like, really, I watch a lot of film with my dad. And so I think that's just one of the things that I really respect about you the most, is that you're always communicating.
Hey, man.
And trying to get everybody on the same page.
Appreciate that,
Nah,
bro.
yeah.
We didn't even talk about that before, but no, but that stuff for me, the reason I wanted to play is like, and that pickup when everybody still doesn't know each other is so big, because for you as a guy coming in, you're trying to learn everybody else, and you see when it's a dead ball, who's quiet, when it's a dead ball, who's huddling each other up, when, in between games, who's, going to get water versus who's staying on the court. What's important about being aware of that stuff is it not only holds yourself to a high standard, but it then allows you to bring everybody else in. Where'd you learn that from? I'm guessing it was your dad. And I just that's such an incredible, like, thing to think of and to be aware of.
Yeah. Well, besides my father, like, my favorite player is LeBron James. And so LeBron does, like, whatever it takes for his team to win, whether he's, like, that means for him to, go score, facilitate, rebound, defend. Like, he really does it all. And he's a guy that I've always said, like, he likes to be liked. So he's gonna make sure that everybody feels welcome and feels comfortable when they're playing around him. Like, you take, for instance, that USA team, the Redeem team, when they had Kobe. Now, don't get me wrong, Kobe was definitely probably the alpha dog, and, like, he was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna be the head of the snake for us. But Bron made everybody come together.
Gel, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Kobe was still closed off, and Bron really got him out of that. And so for me, at a young age, my dad he always put in me, like, just play the game the right way. Everything's gonna take care of itself. As long as you don't have to worry about your stats. If you make the game easier for everybody else on your team, it essentially returns the favor back to you. We call it the basketball gods.
Yeah.
If you treat the game the right way, the game is gonna treat you in a beautiful way back.
Yep.
And so that's just one of the things that he's always instilled in me since I was young. And then obviously, you have other notable figures, like, in your corner that's keeping your head straight. But for the most part, it's definitely just watching a lot of film with my dad and him just teaching me how to play the game the right way.
Man, that's awesome, bro. It's special because, playing the game the right way. A lot of people say, like, hey, you just play the game the right way. Blah, blah, blah. The basketball gods. My freshman year, we went on a freshman and sophomore year, Northwestern. We went on a 10-game losing streak. Okay, 10.
Nah, 10 is crazy.
In a row. Okay, it was a tough 2 months. But our coach would always harp on, like, the basketball gods. Like, a guy wasn't shooting well for, like, a month. He'd be like, are you in the gym? Like, the basketball gods aren't going to reward that. And so that's always stuck with me since then. It's like, I'm a man of faith as well. But just the idea of, like, the basketball gods, rewarding, hard work, diligence, focused, intentional effort, like, that stuff over the time really, really matters, and it wins. But speaking of winning, you won a lot last year. What was that like, coming from red shirt to your year off with cancer, and which we'll get to, but then your third year getting to the tournament and winning?
Yeah. Anybody, like, that really was in my corner, like, that's seen me since I've, like, been, like, at a real young age, they knew that I always had, like, a certain amount of confidence, like, not only, like, within myself, but, like, where any situation I'm in or any environment, like, I just feel like they know that I feel like when I walk in, like it automatically increases just because of, like you said, the leadership and everything that I do day to day on the right path. So like my mom, my dad, like none of us were surprised like when we had the success that we had. But granted, everything did fall into place perfectly because like I think we started off the conference like 1-3, but we finished the season like I want to say 15-5 or something like that, 14-5, something like that. So we went, yeah, it was like over a 2-month span. Like we lost 2 games, and it was because we lost our last home game, and then we lost at Arizona State. But that was after we had played Arizona on the road, and we got the win. So we beat Arizona twice.
Yeah.
And we was good. And then so I mean, it's just a blessing from God though too at the same time. But everybody in my corner wasn't really surprised because they know like how much work I put in. Like as soon as I found out I was put into remission, I threw myself into the deep end and like started working out. They wanted me to take it slow. I said I couldn't do that because for me it's either I'm gonna just jump in the deep end and I gotta learn how to survive, or I won't feel right.
Dude, I'm the same way.
And so like everything that I did from like June 1st is when I went into remission up until we had our first game against Idaho last year. Everything just felt so perfect because I was just working so hard, and I really didn't care about like going into the season. I didn't care about anything else but just besides like playing and just winning like as a team. And then like all the excess stuff comes with it. So I'm just like I said, I'm truly grateful. You know, I'm happy that I was able to do that at Washington State, and now I want to transfer it over here at Indiana on a bigger stage and a bigger fan base. I've heard they're kind of crazy out here, but we want to try to get that. Let me see what I want to say, like kind of because we still got the prestige, but we need to. In the recent years, we gotta get it back on top. Yeah, get back on top, basically. Yeah.
Man, that's powerful, man. What I guess that 3 years, I bet felt, looking back on it, might feel like a blur or super fast, or maybe it was the slowest time ever in the moment, or whatever it may be, because you weren't playing, but you were so thrown into recovery and stuff. What was that time like, and what did it mean to you?
Had its ups and its downs. Like you have your super highs, you have your super lows. And I used to be the kid, I would get super high and I would get super low. I would let it affect me. But then once I figured out how to just stay level, and you gotta take it. It's just everything's gonna come, but you gotta stay here. Everything around you is gonna go up and down, but you gotta stay in the middle. And so once I learned that, everything just started going by really fast. And I learned that, I want to say the second semester of my freshman year, after I really accepted the fact that, okay, yeah, I had the red shirt, but I still have to, be great for the team and practice and push the starters and the second string to be good, so that way when we come into a situation in the actual game, they'll be ready. And so after that, everything just went by super fast. Like I genuinely, everybody always asks me like, how did I go through it? And obviously I say by the grace of God, but I genuinely it went by like just like that. And I can't really just pinpoint a time where I was just really felt sad or down for real. Cause at the end of the day, I knew I was gonna be fine. So yeah. Nothing that came my way, I wasn't ready for or prepared for to attack head on.
So when you say you went through it, for people who don't know, what is it for you? What was it for you? For all the listeners or whatever.
It could be a bunch of different things, but the most important was obviously, I had to do chemotherapy for 7 months between the months of October to April, I want to say, yeah. And so I did about 2 or 3 different surgeries, 2 different biopsies. Wow. After I finished my regular scheduled chemotherapy, I got really sick, so I had to go back to the hospital for a month, not a month, I'm in a week, and I had a tube in my neck, and so that pushed everything back a month. And so it was a hard time for the first month, maybe month and a half, just because your body's getting used to, all the chemotherapy. And so I didn't have the energy to really sleep, eat, just your basic everyday things. Sleeping I'm sleeping for 16 hours at sometimes. Sometimes I'll sleep for 3. It was bad. And on top of that, just juggling schoolwork,
You still out of school?
Oh no, 100%. My mama don't play. My mama
don't
don't play.
Oh my goodness. So you're telling me
my mama
you
do
were
not
doing
play.
chemo?
Yes.
And school.
And practice. Yes, 100%. I don't know how I did it.
What?
I don't know how I did it.
That's crazy.
I try to tell people I don't know how I did it, but like I said, I had my mom out there with me the whole time. She was taking care of me. You know, shout out to my mom. She's the best mom in the world. I love you.
Shout out to moms.
And I'm telling you, like, I was still like, she was like, I know you don't feel good. I just want you to just be there because it at least shows your professors that you're still willing to make the effort to be there. And in the long run, that's going to help you. And then it did, because come down when I need a little extra, you know, extensions on a couple things. They gave it to me. So
I'd hope so. I'd really hope so.
So yeah, just having her around, she don't play. She's all about that. Me getting my degree, me going to school. Like, she's always been like that. And then obviously having my dad there, he's a rock to all of us. So we all leaned on him. He made sure that we was all good. You know, he kept me in good spirits, so like for basketball and just becoming a man in general, and just understanding that life's gonna, you know, hit you with certain things. But you know, as long as you're prepared for it and you know you're not afraid to attack it head on, then you'll be fine.
I think it's impossible to be a great leader without having to go through anything difficult, like any hardships.
That's a fact.
What would you say if you could, like, one lesson, and this is just for me because I'm selfish, like I want to know, like, what you learned from that, because I always try to give a meaning to something, because it's not about what happens to us. I think it's about the story we tell ourselves about it, the meaning we give it. What meaning did you give that experience, or do you give that experience?
I can say from two different, you know, two different things. So the other week, I told the guys after practice, we got to be able to give more. And, you know, give, it has its own little acronym. It's like gratitude increases value every day. And so the more and more we give, not only to ourselves, but to others and just everything around us, the better everything around us uplifts and gains more, value to it. So if I'm having a bad day, but I can give you more energy, that's gonna uplift you. But in retrospective, it's gonna uplift everybody else around us as well. So the more and more we can do that for one, like say if 2 guys are doing it, and then next thing you know 4 guys are doing it, then 5 guys are doing it, then everybody's doing it. So we're all uplifting one another. So that's what I would always say, because during my chemotherapy, I told my team at Washington State, I told them, I said, I don't want you guys to feel bad for me, because I'm gonna get through it, and I'm gonna be right here next to y'all every step of the way, and y'all, we're gonna be fine. And so that's like where that encouraging factor came from me. And then the second thing I would say is just appreciating the little things, because you never realize how many people actually have cancer, or how big the cancer society is, until you really have somebody directly affected by it. I cannot recall ever seeing a cancer commercial besides Dick Vitale and like Jimmy V Foundation. Until I got cancer, I see a cancer commercial probably every day, and it happens just like that. It's kind of like seeing like you get a new car, and then you start seeing them everywhere you go.
Okay.
And so that's how me and my dad, we also came up like with a little saying. It's called the abbreviation is AYN, but it stands for all you need. And then we have, because my jersey number is 1 this year, so it's all you need is 1. And so it kind of goes back into that give acronym that we had. So as long as you can, you know, whatever that, you know, that one more reason it is for you to, you know, give somebody a little bit of extra encouragement or keep striving towards your goal. I mean, that's how the AYN one applies to you. So like it can apply to me for different reasons. Like I could be like, all I need is 1 more day. You could be like, all you need is maybe 1 more make, or whatever that 1 more is for you. And that's for everybody out here that's listening as well. Whatever that 1 more is for you to keep going to strive for your dreams, I promise you, just don't give up and keep striving each and every day, because you will reach it. Because like I said, I'm just a kid that, yes, I am blessed from God, because, you know, he loves me, but I also work hard. I do the things that I'm supposed to do. I have a good family by me, so I keep my head on straight. Like, it's not impossible for you to go out there and reach your goals at the same time. So you just keep striving. I hope everybody who hears this really takes that to heart. That's one thing I just wanted to get off.
Dude, that's awesome, bro. That's so awesome, man. I don't even have like anything to respond to that, because it's I love listening to podcasts for like talks like that, because I'm doing this with as a host for like the audience of Indiana and stuff, but like this conversation selfishly is one for me because I'm like you said, I like you wrote down on the paper is like you love leadership and love talking about it and your experiences and how they shaped you into who you are. Like that's super interesting to me because I try to give as much meaning to whatever I'm going through to help me go through it. And your story is incredible, but not just what you've gone through, but how you've come out on the other side. And that's the coolest thing, man, just to hear it in your voice. And I could tell the first time we played on the court, I loved playing with you because there was a curiosity in the game and there was a wide-eyed, like, I want to learn. Like if there's something out here that I can like learn and pick up, whether it's one little thing, whether it's one move or one spacing or one term, like that's enough. I did my job. And having that, I could tell you have that in your eyes. And so, yeah, man, I'm super excited. I'm glad you've been able to share your story and continue on the path because it's just the beginning, man.
It's just like barely scratching the surface.
It's just the beginning. And, to start this thing off, you said, you're a man of God, a man of faith. How has that played a role in your past, present, and how you look towards the future?
Yeah, just the past part. Like I grew up in the church, but I never really as I got older, I didn't really dive into the word. Honestly, I was just I just knew He was by my side, but and I just kind of used it as a crutch to be like, okay, I'll be fine. I know He's by my side regardless. But then once I went through the chemotherapy and there was just certain things that I just couldn't do. I had to just lean on Him, and He was able to, He made what could feel like an eternity for somebody else feel like a month to me. Because I tell people after about 3 months I was back warming up with the team.
That's nuts, bro.
And I remember my first game I warmed up with the team was at Colorado. So mind you, elevation too. Take that into account. And we practiced the night before too, and I practiced with them. And I technically wasn't supposed to because I still had my port in. But
what's a port?
The port is where I had surgery in my chest, and that's where they put the chemotherapy. They stick a needle in, and it's like a tube connected to my heart, and it
So you're practicing with that in?
Yeah. But
So
I wasn't supposed to though.
This is how long after?
This was I was working out probably a month and a half, 2 months after I started chemotherapy. Then at the 3 month mark, I started practicing doing non-contact stuff, just still shooting, and I started warming up and everything. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back to the Colorado story.
Yeah. So I'm talking about we're practicing the day before. That's the first time I probably went up and down in a long time. I'm out there dying. I am completely dying. I was just it's gonna be a long time until I come back for real. Cause it's I go up, down and back. I am gassed, but I also have to take in the fact that the elevation.
Yeah, you're at
crazy.
4,000 feet or whatever. Yeah.
So I was I gave myself a little bit of grace, but just being back out there with the team, it just gave me so much joy, and I know I didn't do this all by myself. He guided me down the path. He helped me, pick up the cross and walk with it on days where I couldn't. And so just being able to, give glory to Him, and because it's not just, like I said, it's not just all me. I would be foolish to say I did this all by myself.
Yeah.
And so, and moving forward, I just want people to understand that, I'm not telling you that you can believe what you want to believe, but just know that there's somebody out there, whether you can encourage somebody or you can be a motivation to somebody else. I give my love to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ all the time, and I'm super grateful that He's blessed me to be in these opportunities, to be in this room, to be even in this podcast right now, because who knows what this door will open. Mm-hmm. And you never really see things like that in the moment until like I said, you can't look at the past 10 days or the past 10 weeks. You gotta look at the big picture, the past 10 years. If you told Myles what am I, 21, at 11 years old, that you'll be playing for one of the most perennial names in college basketball.
Yeah.
I would have probably believed you to some extent because I have confidence in myself. But I was on the verge of, not even going to Power 5 coming out of high school. So to put that into perspective is crazy.
That's nuts. But it's awesome, man. It's awesome because you're here. And the proof is that in the work and in what you believe is that you're still here.
That is a fact. Like, my mom always tells me like she wants me to be like just a slightly bit more humble. But I told her I'm not really like, it's not me not being humble. It's just I have the utmost confidence not only in myself, but like I said, in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But like, I just really believe that I'm just chosen to do something.
Yeah. Because
I don't know how. My dad's 6 foot, my mom's 5'5", my brother's like 5'10"ish. Like, I'm over here 6'3". I'm supposed to do something with this. I don't know. Everybody on my dad's side, they play basketball, so like they've always been in my corner, just trying to coach me and teach me everything. And so I'm just bound to do something, whether it's sports or not. Like I just feel like there's a hand over me to do something great to help my family out in the long run, and I'm just blessed that I can be able to do that.
Well, it would be a disgrace, I think, to not try to maximize that, to maximize whatever you were given, whether it's people out there in school who are crazy IQs or people who are gifted in the game of basketball or whatever it may be. Like, it would be a disgrace not to try to use your blessings to, I always say, like, bless others. Exactly. Because it's not about you. It's about the people you can impact, and that's why I hope that. That's why I'm glad you really happy you came on, man, because it's I know your story's impacted me already, and it's given me a great perspective, and I know for a fact it will give somebody else a great perspective as well. So, man, I appreciate the time, bro.
Nah, it's always a good time.
That's it for us.
Yeah, I'm happy I was able to come on and give you a little insight to my life, but. Yeah.
No? Well, we do a shake.
Yes, sir.
And a tap.
Mike's tap.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. How was that?
He's a really, really good player.
And so, like, to go, like, how old is he?
I don't know how old he is, but I know it's his 4th year in college.
To be in your 20s and like have all that life experience happen to you, especially when it starts during COVID. So he was recruited during COVID, where no one could actually come to his games and see him play. And he kind of talks about this a little bit. So all his visits were like virtual and stuff like that. But he talks about like this thing that him and his dad kind of talk about, which is the eye test.
The eye test. He, as a basketball just player and someone with a high basketball IQ like him, he talked about the eye test and how it's hard to have the eye test when during COVID you can't tell. You really can't look somebody in the eye and shake their hand and really hear their tone of voice and their body language. And that affected recruiting because he passes the eye test in terms of all the intangibles, all of the energy, the dap ups, the positivity. He has all that stuff. He may not be the strongest, but he passes the eye test in terms of who he is as a player and who he is as a person. And that hurts him. That hurt him, and he talked about that in recruiting, and that's how he ended up at Washington State.
Yeah. I mean, incredibly positive guy.
Yeah. For good reason.
100%.
For good reason.
Because his path past getting recruited is even crazier than getting recruited during COVID, which is already I don't know how you can from being recruited and how crazy it is just to be recruited into college. Could you imagine having all that take place?
I gained so much more respect for him just hearing his story and not just what happened, but not even the fact that he just got through it, but how his perspective has changed since then.
So
and through that,
he gets recruited. His only Power 5 offer,
Washington State.
Washington
And he's
State.
from Atlanta.
Yeah, so that's a long way. And Washington State's in the middle of nowhere.
I know for a fact, as somebody who's recruited everywhere I'm from Houston, the far schools were always like the really far ones out in different time zones, and like they were a lot.
And he's really
Less
close.
sexy.
He's really close with his family.
Super close.
He talks a lot about how him and his dad train and just like the motivational kind of psyche that they get into and stuff like that. But
he gets recruited.
Just to go back to this crazy story.
Yeah. So he gets recruited during COVID, won high major offer, Washington State.
Yeah.
Goes there, red shirts, which
must be a very hard thing to do all the way out there.
Tough process because you don't play as a redshirt. You don't get to play.
Yeah.
You're practicing every day, but without the ability to be free and have fun in the games. So you're doing all the workouts, and so he does that for a year, and then next year finds out
cancer diagnosis.
Yes.
Has to go through chemo for, was it 7 months?
Yeah,
7 months,
around
something
there.
like that.
And through the process, the craziest thing, and I still can't get over it, is how he, and you talk about his family, he's so close with them. His mom made him continue to go to practice. Well, he wanted to go to practice, but this is the kicker for me, school. During chemo, he had school, travel, and practice.
I would lose all motivation to do anything. And he was saying like, sleep like 16 hours a day.
Yeah. And then some days he'd sleep like 2 hours a day. And to go from that, beat cancer, and then lead his team to an NCAA tournament and be
Pac-12 freshman of the year.
Yeah. Is unreal. And now he's here in Indiana.
We hope you loved this episode of Players Perspective. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Stay connected with Hoosiers Connect on social media for even more exciting content featuring IU student athletes. Until next time, Hoosier Nation.